Thomas Goes Fishing. Thomas the Tank Engine had his own branch line. It was his reward for helping James the Red Engine. The trucks had pushed James off the rails and Thomas had helped to rescue him. Thomas was very proud of his branch line. Every day he puffed up and down with his two coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. He always looked forward to something special, the river. As he rumbled over the bridge, he would see people fishing down below. He often wanted to stay and watch, but his driver always said, "No, what would the Fat Controller say if we were late?" Thomas still thought it would be lovely to stop by the river and do some fishing.
Sometimes it's nice to take some time out, do what you really want to do, just to relax and let the world fly by. Forget your worries, no need to hurry, just leave a sign to say, "Gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Gone fishing, gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go fishing?"
Every time Thomas met another engine, he would say, "I want to fish." But they all gave the same answer: "Engines don't go fishing." And that's just what James said as he passed Thomas that day.
You drop your line down to the river, waiting to see what you can find. Whatever life has to offer you, you know you'll take it. Stand up and face it, smiling along the way. Gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Gone fishing, gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go fishing? There's nothing better on a sunny day when all your work is done. Throw down your line, settle down. Surprise, surprise, look what you found. Gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Gone fishing, gone fishing, gone fishing. It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Why don't we all go fishing? It's a sunny day and you're on your way. Gone fishing.
One day, Thomas stopped as usual to take him water at the station by the river. Then he saw a big painted notice. It read, "Out of order." Thomas was very thirsty. The driver had an idea. They could get water from the river. They found a bucket and some rope and went to the bridge. Then the driver let the bucket down into the water. The bucket was old and had 5 holes, so they had to fill it, pull it up, and empty it into Thomas's tank as quickly as they could, again and again. At last they were finished. That's good, puffed Thomas, as he started off again, with Annie and Clarabelle running happily behind. They puffed along the valley until suddenly Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler. Steam began to hiss from his safety valve in an alarming way. "There's too much steam," said his driver. The fireman tried to let more water into the boiler, but none came. "Oh dear," groaned Thomas, "I'm going to burst, I'm going to burst." They damped down his fire and he struggled on. "I've got such a pain, I've got such a pain," Thomas hissed. They stopped outside the last station, and Annie and Clarabelle were uncoupled. The driver ran Thomas onto a siding, right out of the way. He was still hissing fit to burst. Then the guard telephoned for an engine inspector, and the driver found 2 notices. They were written in large letters and read, "Danger, keep away." Soon the inspector and the Fat Controller arrived. "Cheer up, Thomas," they said. "We'll soon put you right." The driver told them what had happened. The engine inspector thought that the trouble must be in the feed pipe. The inspector climbed up to have a look. He peered in and then came down. "Excuse me, sir," he said. "Please look in the tank and tell me what you see." So the Fat Controller clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. "Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?" "Gracious goodness me, how did the fish get there, driver?" asked the inspector. "We must have fished them out of the river with our bucket," said Thomas's driver. "Well, Thomas, so you and your driver have been fishing, but fish don't suit you. We must get them out," said the Fat Controller. They took turns at fishing in Thomas's tank. The Fat Controller looked on and told them how to do it. When they had caught all the fish, they had a lovely picnic supper of fish and chips. That was good," said the Fat Controller as he finished off his share. "But fish don't suit you, Thomas, so you mustn't do it again." "No, sir, I won't," said Thomas sadly. "Engines don't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable." James and the Troublesome Trucks. James had not seen the Fat Controller for some time, not since the day when he had nearly lost his red coat and been painted blue instead. That was the time when James had been very naughty. First he had let off steam and sprayed water on the Fat Controller's new top hat. Then he had run too fast and made a hole in one of the coaches. The driver had to mend the hole with newspaper and a passenger's bootlace. The Fat Controller had been very angry. Now James was alone in the shed. He was not even allowed out to push coaches and trucks in the yard. At last the Fat Controller arrived and came to see him. "I can see that you are sorry, James," he said. "I hope now that you will be a better engine." "You have given me a lot of trouble," said the Fat Controller. "People are laughing at my railway, and I do not like it at all." James said that he was very sorry and promised to be a better engine. The Fat Controller said, "I want you to pull some trucks for me." James was delighted and puffed away. "Here are your trucks, James," said Thomas the Tank Engine. "Have you got some bootlaces ready?" Thomas ran off laughing. "Oh, ho, ho," said the trucks. "We want a proper engine, not a red monster." But James took no notice and started as soon as the guard was ready. Come along," he puffed, but the trucks were being naughty. We won't," they screamed. James took no notice, and he pulled the screeching trucks sternly out of the station onto the line. The trucks tried very hard to make James give up, but he still kept on. Sometimes their brakes would slip on, and sometimes their axles would run hot. Each time the trouble had to be put right, and each time James would start again, but he was not going to let them beat him. Give up, you can't pull us," shouted the trucks.
Never, never, never give up, even though the going's tough. Don't stop trying when you're tiring and you're out of puff.
But James puffed on, and slowly he pulled them along the line.
If at first you don't succeed, never, never, never give up.
At last they saw Gordon's Hill. This was the famous place where Gordon, the big proud engine, had once got stuck. Little Edward, one of the tender engines, had to push Gordon up the hill. As James came nearer to the hill, his driver warned him to be careful and to look out for trouble from the trucks. "We'll go fast and get them up the hill before they know it," the driver whispered to James. "Don't let them stop you."
So never, never, never give up, even though the going's tough. Don't stop trying when you're tiring and you're out of puff. Never, never, never give up, even though you're feeling rough. If at first you don't succeed, never, never, never give up.
So James went faster and faster, and soon they were halfway up the hill. "I'm doing it! I'm doing it!" he panted. "Will the top ever come?" Then, with a sudden jerk, it all became much easier. James thought it was over and that he had pulled the trucks to the top of the hill without any trouble. But his driver shut off steam. "They've done it again," he said. "We've left our tail behind. Look!" The last trucks were running backwards down the hill. The coupling had broken, but the guard stopped the trucks and climbed out to warn other engines. "That's why it was so easy," said James as he backed the other trucks carefully down the hill. What silly things trucks are! There might have been an accident. Edward had come along. He offered to help, but James had decided that he was going to pull these trucks by himself. "Good," said Edward. "Don't let them beat you." James struggled slowly up the hill. He pulled and puffed as hard as he could.
If you climb the highest mountain, cross the river deep, maybe you'll find it's never as easy as it first appears. Just remember not to worry or get down at heart. Never lose faith in positive thinking. You'll be amazed when you achieve all the things you start. So never, never, never give up, even though the going's tough. Don't stop trying when you're tiring and you're out of puff. No, never, never, never give up, even though you're feeling rough. If at first you don't succeed, never, never, never give up. If at first you don't succeed, then try and try again. Nothing in life is ever as easy, but you get there in the end. So throw your cares and woes behind you, start a brand new day. Nothing can stop you reaching your goal. If you're determined, you can do it. You will find a way. So never, never, never give up, even though the going's tough. Don't stop trying when you're tiring and you're out of puff. Never, never, never give up, even though you're feeling rough. If at first you don't succeed, never, never, never give up.
After a long time, he finally pulled the trucks to the top. "I've done it! I've done it!" he cried, and his driver cheered.
So remember, never, never, never give up. Never, never, never give up, even though the going's tough. Don't stop trying when you're tiring and you're out of puff. No, never, never, never give up, even though you're feeling rough. If at first you don't succeed, never, never, never give up.
They reached the station safely, and James was resting in the yard when Edward pulled up. "Peep, peep," he whistled. Then James saw the Fat Controller. He thought that he would be in trouble. But the Fat Controller was smiling. He had been in Edward's train and he had seen everything.
Never, never, never give up.
"You've made the most troublesome trucks on the line behave," he said. "After that, you deserve to keep your red coat."